I never usually do this, but obviously this video is sponsored by Buckeye, and they even went so far as to put green balls in their dye pens. I mean, come on, talk about brand identity. So yeah, video is sponsored by Buckeye. Hey guys, so this week we're doing another riveted wallet. I feel like I ended up with like two designs, vertical and horizontal, and I wanted to share them and do patterns of them because they're really simple pieces that are a good way to kind of get your foot in the door at like farmers markets and stuff. We've talked about how it can be hard to sell a $200 or $300 wallet, but something that's 20 or 30 bucks, which you can totally make these for, is a great way to do that. And so there will be a pattern pack. This is the horizontal version. There will be a vertical version as well. Hey guys, Saturday morning. Let me turn the AC off. Just rolled out of bed, but I realized that I should probably show you the vertical version. And as you can see, if I turn this around, the vertical version took a lot more time to get right than the horizontal. So I already showed you what you're making today, but the horizontal version, in my opinion, is probably one of the coolest things that I've ever designed. Hold on, I'm gonna do the old nose tap there. There we go. So there's the horizontal version. Little plague Jane looking until you flip it over. And it's got this really beautiful, I'm really kind of proud of this shape. But so this pattern pack comes with that pattern pack. And if you put that together by this video, you just put these two wallets in. But I'm gonna do a video on its own because my videos tend to like get trickle views. So if someone just clicks on the horizontal video, it'll teach you how to put this together. But once you know how to put one together, you pretty much know how to get both together. That's all. So let's get on with the video. So this is actually the finished product here. You have magnetic opening, and I don't know how I have to do this. So that is actually structural because on the back you have your second pocket riveted in, and all it is those three connection points and two pieces of leather, and you get that nice look. And I actually really like this design. I brought this one out, and you'll notice it's different because it comes from I have a maybe box, and I've had it for probably about 10 years now. And my maybe box is when I draw something out and I sample it and I look at it and I go, you know, I know there's something there. It's like 70% of the way there, or there's like something about it that I could use in a different design. And every time I'm working on something and I need to figure out like one piece of it, I can go through my maybe box and try to find, like, say I need a pocket to connect in a specific way. I can kind of go back through almost 10 years of stuff that almost worked and try to find that piece in a different piece. So it's kind of like songwriters that in their notes, they just keep like one line, just whole notes of single lines, because they could be writing a song and they're like, I need one line. Oh, I have something that would be perfect in my notes, but it's just one line. It didn't have anywhere to go. Same thing with my maybe box. So I was flipping through and I saw that this is the reason I never made these to sell is because I was using like this flappy thing, and this is so unbelievably annoying in use. Because your cards are always getting stuck on when you fold this in, right? Let me do this. And this is annoying because it's going to try to focus on my face here. When you tuck this in, right, on the inside, you have the perfect catch. Like your cards get caught on that all the time. And it can break in and work, but I think that's why I abandoned this piece, and I also abandoned just trying to make a citrus wallet in general. But I recently revisited it and came out with this. And this is the two pocket version. So you have one exterior and one interior. And the maybe box delivered in the form of this. It's also interesting if you keep like pieces that you've designed from the past to kind of see how your styles change, how your design styles change. So like, I don't think that this is a bad looking one at all, but it's interesting to see how like curvy and sort of more. I used to try to design super industrially, and this has a lot more movement in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, it's a new tannery the Buckle Guy's carrying called Concerto la Britannia, I think it is, and they have some beautiful leathers, and so we are going to make one of these out of that leather. Okay, so I pre-cut the two pieces because all we're going to need, the whole pattern, is just these two pieces that took like 2 weeks to get perfect. This curve and the placements and stuff. Oy vey, it was rough. But you guys have seen me cut out pieces a ton, so I have the pieces cut out. For those of you asking if I own a Rolex, it's not. It's just a Steinhardt homage watch. Like I said in my video, 95% of the joy of wearing a Rolex, and I don't have $25,000 to buy a watch, and if I did, I wouldn't buy a watch with it. So you're gonna need your two pieces of leather. I suggest doing like a 3/4 ounce, and I'm gonna use the magnetic snaps from Buckle Guy. I've fallen in love with these, and it makes this design just basically that much more future-proof, higher quality kind of, because if you use like a line 20 or a line 24, you're putting a lot more tension on the snap areas. So over time, and I'm talking years here, I'm not talking about like in a week, but like in 10 years, this is gonna be just as solid of a closure as a line 20 or 24, but it's a softer opening and closing, so the leather won't be as stressed. Then the only other thing we need are 2 rivets. That's it. So what I would suggest doing is getting everything finished, and then you have to remember too, oh, we gotta focus there. There you go. I do this because you're not gonna see down here, but you are gonna see this edge. This is a 1.5 inch slot punch. You can use a 1.5 inch slot punch, or you can just trace it out from the pattern, punch 2 holes, and then connect them with a straight edge. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to take this longer flap here, and we're going to put it through that slot punch, and we are going to install the innie part of the magnetic snap. So this is going to go on the outside. And then the thing I love about these is they just clip like a normal rivet, and then we'll set it in the press. Punch your holes, meaning this hole, these holes, etc., to your desired hardware. You can do these with really tiny rivets. You can do them with different types of snaps. I would suggest, I'm loving the 18mm magnetic snap from Buckle Guy. It's perfectly strong. It's strong enough to hold a wallet closed, but it's just so elegant compared to a regular snap. So I'm going to do a half press. So this is set in, but then I can turn it over to see if everything is aligned, because I overshot the size of the holes that I wanted to punch. And we're good. You can do that from this side too, just make sure everything kind of lines up. So we'll put that in, and this press is not screwed down, so there we go, put all my body into it. Now we're gonna switch out the bottom. This is a 3-piece die set, as you guys have, if you've watched the other videos with me using these, you know. And next thing, we're gonna do the top. So I switched out the die, and we're gonna install the outie part. That goes there, that clips on top and will become basically our snap, and it goes like this. So again, I'm going to go partial on this, just like that. so that I can kind of look at it and make sure I'm centered and stuff, just because I punched my holes too big accidentally. That's pretty good, I'd say. So now your wallet should look like this, and you can see you have just this coming through the slot there, the little blue, that's like a little blue protector. You can peel that off after, or you can leave it for your customer too. It's just to protect the finish of the hardware, and it's looking pretty normal and just like a wallet ready to be finished. So we're not gonna set the rivets with our press. We're gonna set the rivets by hand, just like if you watched the last video, last week's video. It's basically the same method. We're just only using 2 instead of 4, even though this has 2 pockets instead of 1. This is a cobbler's anvil. Whoa, that is way too. Okay, that's a cobbler's anvil. If you don't have one, I would highly suggest tracking one down. A lot of them are just turn of the century in antique shops or at flea markets. They're 20 bucks. Don't buy an expensive one because you kind of need to not abuse it, but like it's a tool I use almost every day in the shop. And the whole point of it is that you can slide things under. This would have been for a shoe, but you can get, we're going to use it to slide this under like this and fasten our rivets, set our rivets using the hand press, or the screw-on hand mount for the buckeye die, and just the anvil part of this. Thank you for watching these videos. I know it's not from the camera because of the camera work right now. Okay, so I'm going to set this one first. And you don't need to go crazy with it, like you don't need to smash away at it. I'm only going to partially set it so I can still move it a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. And you can see how this wants to come apart. So we want to make sure, not come apart, we want this corner needs to be tucked in. So what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate the 2 pieces until we get it where we need it to be. And then you're going to have to, sometimes you have to be creative, like I'm holding it with my pinky there. And I'm going to set that rivet a little bit harder than this one, but enough so I can still move it a little bit. Then I'm going to pull this out and see how I did. I'm going to close this. These rivets are set enough to where things aren't really moving much, but if I kind of do this, they settle, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm doing this, and this leather is awesome for this. This is like the perfect leather for this design, as far as it's got a pretty, there's no real stretch to it, but it's not super firm. It feels broken in kind of. So now that I have everything lined up, which is important because remember, you can go to, if you don't check and set, like partially set things and then straighten them out and then fully set things in this pattern, you're going to end up with wallets that just look like this. And then you're gonna be like, bro, your pattern's off. And I tried my best on this one. I know it's not off. But the first few I made, I thought it was off too, and I kept revising it. And I ended up going back 3 revisions because I was like, oh, I just need to take my time setting these rivets. So after you do that and get it kind of set where it's at, that's when you want to go full bore on these guys. So that one's fully set. See, this is still trying to pop out a little bit. So make sure, we know that if it's, you just want this to be even. This joint here, I'll show you. This joint right here, you want this to flow into that. That's how that was designed to be done. So if it tries to pop out on you, just kind of shove it back in and then take that rivet home there. And here we are with our finished 2-pocket wallet held together with 2 rivets. Now I painted the edges black or darker so you can kind of get a nice contrast here. But on the front, my favorite part is this cool, ooh, let's take the sticker off. It's just a plastic coating, but it really is on there. There we go. Now we're nice and shiny. So this is structural, and then these 2 are structural. There it is. So this is something that looks super high-end, And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I mean, it looks super high end because of the leather choice. And I'm telling you, with these magnetic snaps, it feels like something that you're buying at like a high end luxury store, and they're like $1. It's such an easy way to really raise the level of how your pieces feel in hand. But you can bang them out in 10 minutes, and if you want to get a die made, go for it. The only thing that I ask people not to do with the patterns is to resell the pattern itself. But I'm actually probably going to get a die made for this design, and the pattern pack also has the vertical version, which will be next week's video or the week after. I might take a break in between. Just know that the vertical one you put together the exact same way. And then, as we've had in the last couple weeks, this is the single pocket version, which is oddly held together with 4 rivets. I'm sure I could make it a 2, but I like the 4. So, headed into fall time and to markets and stuff, I'm just trying to come up with some cool designs for you guys to have at your booths. And you can tool them or do them in different color. You can color block with them. You can get funky with the hardware that don't cost a lot to make, so that you can, so that you can sell more pieces. I think this one, the hardware price, probably 15 cents per rivet, $1.20, I think, for the snap, and then could probably make about 2 to 3 of these out of 2.5 of these out of a square foot of leather. So let's just say the hardware price is, or the cost is in materials is about $7, and they take 5 minutes to put together. So yeah, it's a cool. I'm like really happy with this one. This one took a long time to kind of come through. Sometimes they do, and I'm happy I revisited the maybe box and came out with this. So anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.